Okay, so we're having a conversation. Now it's recording. So continue on. This is so weird. See, this
What
is
about
the charm of it though. It's that it's hella awkward watching me be awkward. I don't
Oh, I
know.
was gonna say watching me be myself. Like,
Yeah,
this?
right.
This is why Strange Familiars is not filmed
Yeah, but you're so smooth.
you are.
with
I listen to that too.
tons of editing. With tons of editing, I'm smooth.
Yeah, you were smooth when we did the thing the other day.
So, um,
Sounded
awkward
weird.
conversations, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's this author I absolutely love. His name is Patrick Harper. He wrote a book called Daemonic Reality, not demonic. It's daemonic. It's a different thing. Um, wonderful book, like one of my favorite books of all time. Definitely my favorite book that has to do with the supernatural.
Is it fiction or nonfiction?
It's nonfiction.
Okay.
And my buddy Soraya has a podcast, Where Did the Road Go? And he's like, hey, I'm going to have Patrick Harper on. Do you want to come on? And I was like, okay, yeah. I'm not going to be much help. I'm just going to fanboy the whole time. But yeah, I'll come because this guy is brilliant. Like Patrick Harper's brilliant. So I get on there and with a few people besides me and Soraya, it was like two other people, I think. The co-author of my latest book, Josh, and then a guy named Ren, and Soraya, and this guy, Patrick Harper. And I had prepared nothing, no questions, nothing. I thought like I was just there to basically chime in when Soraya asked questions because it's his show, it's his interview. So Soraya gets us all together and he's like, introduces us and says, okay, go. I'm going to go in the background. Tim, Josh, Ren, go ahead.
Oh my God.
And I was like, oh my God. And here, this guy, like I said, is like one of my favorite authors, and he's brilliant. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Luckily, Josh kind of took the helm and did a good job. But it was so like the first like few minutes of that were just like, what do I do?
Right. Like I'm fine once I settle in and get the nerves out of my system, but like that's why I really don't ever want to meet anyone that is like I would never want to meet Robert Smith because I literally have no idea what I'd freaking say to him that he hasn't heard like 10 trillion times.
I'd probably forget how to speak English.
I would just make an ass out of myself. That's all it would be.
Look, I've show and tell. I've got the book. There it is.
Oh yeah.
I'm writing it down. Hold on. Continue, Tara.
Read it and she'll probably have that read by tomorrow morning.
It's a talent.
Reader.
It's Daemonic Reality, A Field Guide to the Otherworld by Patrick Harper. There's his name.
And what's the premise of it?
It is it explores the idea of things in the paranormal being both apparitional and physical at the same time, which is something I wrestle with a lot on the podcast and in my books. That something, say like Bigfoot, can leave a footprint and leave hair behind, but it can't be caught. It's not there. It's not like an animal. And he very poetically and wonderfully kind of addresses this issue. It's quite wonderful.
Okay, so I have theories on that. Because
Okay.
I've thought about that a lot too. So there's all of this anecdotal evidence for like ghosts and, Bigfoot, cryptids, all the other things. And how is it that we have the same stories throughout cultures, throughout history? And these people are spread across the world, had no ways of communicating. There wasn't really the travel unless there's something there. And so I do a lot of study of chaos magic. And so that's down at like the quantum levels of reality. And in that, you start to think about parallel and alternate realities. And I wonder if every time you make a decision, your life could go A, B, C, D. You make the decision, and so you go B. So then your reality shifts. Are these sightings and the ghosts or whatever, and deja vu even. Is that an intersection where the two realities are like thin and something comes through? Or is it we get like a glimpse through a window into another reality and then it shifts again? Like, it's just something I've thought about a lot.
I mean, I kind of yes to both. First of all, who knows, right? Like nobody
Yeah,
knows.
exactly.
But,
We'll
but
never know till we know.
I think yes to both, and then sometimes I think like we're getting time loops. I don't think time necessarily works the way we think it works. I think
Yeah.
we organize it linearly so we don't go insane, basically. But time is probably like
circular.
it's circular, or I was thinking like a
Yeah.
ribbon folded over on itself like
Mhm.
this. And some places it's thinner, and you might be getting glimpses of the past and the future. I don't
Brian
know.
Lumley talks about that in his Necroscope series. It's a vampire series, and he talks about this man who's like a vampire hunter or whatever, and he travels through I would never say it right, Mavis time, Moibus, where it's the strip that goes back on each,
Like
and
Mobius.
it's all one side. Yes, Mobius, thank you. But he travels through that reality, and so he's able to bend realities, whether it's time or physicality, so that he can travel throughout universes, throughout the planet, throughout time. And it's really interesting. It's like that concept is kind of what started me where I am now, because I read that book when I was probably 14, 15, and I've just been kind of trying to figure that stuff out ever since.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, the problem with any of this stuff is I don't think we ever get to find the answers. Like you have to be willing to kind of realize like no one's going to solve it. Like I'm not going to solve it. I'm not going to solve these mysteries, but do I like them? Yeah. Do I want to explore them? Yeah. It's part of mankind, but I don't think we get to solve them. I really don't.
well, it's a big thing in I practice witchcraft. And so it's a big thing in that time, like I said, is circular, but it's also a spiral.
Mm.
So as you are progressing throughout your life, you're progressing like the year does in a wheel, but you also, as you learn things about yourself, you go inward. And in order to understand yourself or anything at all, you go inward, and then you travel back outward again. And you always pass points where you had been in your learning. And if you can acknowledge that, okay, I had this belief before, I'm at this step now, and now I believe this, or I still believe that, but I understand it in a different way, then you're able to overcome like biases and things like that you had before, or problems that you have like as a person with communicating, or with like your temper, or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think probably there's probably similar equivalents in many spiritual practices. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether it's mandala work or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
name the tradition, but yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I think a lot of traditions will tell you too that time isn't exactly like you think it is. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it was a philosopher, I'm going to say Renaissance era philosopher, and I will not remember his name, but he came up with this idea that he was almost executed for coming up with this idea from the church. Just didn't like it because it was so bizarre at the time. It's very much like science fiction. But he basically said that for humans to have free will and for God to know everything, God has to live outside of time. So, in other words, we're kind of in the time bubble, making our own decisions and having free will, but he's kind of living, outside of time and knowing everything and kind of seeing all times at once. Really, really interesting. I always thought it was a wonderful concept, but yeah, like I said, he almost got, I think, killed from the the Catholic Church for coming up with that.
Yeah, I think.
And how is that even blasphemous? I don't get it.
Anything that was against whatever was at the time, this is.
Yeah, I guess.
It wasn't what the priests were teaching, I guess.
Like that seems obvious to me that God would be separated out of everything. I don't know.
Yeah, at least partially. I mean,
untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I guess
Yeah.
that's debatable also.
Right. It's hard to
But he's here but not here.
right.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Ooh.
You guys are all like intellectual and I'm like throwing in that.
Well, it's not like you're stupid, Sarah. You're very smart.
I just think like I'm really good at coming up with things in my head, but not as good as articulating them. I think writing
That
them, but not talking.
well, that comes with practice too. Like oh boy, the beginning of the podcast, I used to get like terrified, like calling up people to do interviews and stuff. It's oh my God, I worry and worry and worry. Or if I had an interview, like the first time I went on Coast to Coast, I think I, had to visit the bathroom for probably 2 hours before I was on Coast.
Yeah, that would stress me out so bad.
I get that nervous stomach too. There's a reason, I was going to say, Tara, that we had you on as our first guest. It's because we know you and we're familiar with you and it's easy to talk to you. It's not like we had a relative stranger. Like, we had you on because you have interesting stuff to talk about, but also because it's not like we're talking to a celebrity or whatever. We're just talking to our friends.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. That's like, talking to you guys is relatively, I mean, I'm nervous just because I'm me. But I mean, and I have never talked to Tim before face to face, so that's weird. Even though we've known each other for like
300 years.
300 years, but and like Candi, I've already talked to you face to face.
I'm nobody though. Like I'm just
no, I get you don't get it. I get nervous about everything. Like literally everything. So this is like an easy
I swear we talked on the phone once. We had a long phone conversation one time.
Probably, yeah. Yes, you mentioned that a while ago before we did the podcast, and I'm like, we did, and it must have been around like the Black Happy Day stuff, maybe.
Yeah.
Or something, but I mean, I've never seen your face.
That makes it harder.
So it's just weird. I don't know. But like I'm just gonna have my friends on. People that I already know, like my friend Stephanie, she's like, yeah, I'll do it, and Vicky and whatever. And then I'll ease up to people that maybe, I don't know.
Before you know it, you'll have Robert Smith on.
Oh my God.
Can I be on that show too?
I'll just sit in the back. You can do the.
You don't even know. I am such a fan of Rob.
Yeah.
Like, I follow everything he does.
I don't really so much now. Something happened to me when I got in a band. Like I used to be like obsessive about stuff and have to read every article and buy every album and this and that. And then when like I got involved with music, it becomes sort of weirdly work related somehow. It's the same thing that happened to me with reading. Like I used to read like 2 or 3 books a week. And then once I started like writing more, I find I can't concentrate on other people's stuff as well. And it sounds super self-centered, but I think it's not, trust me. It just becomes like an extension of work because I'm always reading my own stuff constantly. And then I don't know if either one of you experienced that, but the same thing happened to me with music where I absolutely love music. I just obsess over it like I used to. Because it's like it's this weird stress thing that happens to me. So like I like to listen to podcasts and I like to like watch stuff that you would never, like YouTube drama videos, which have nothing to do with who I am as a human being. But that's what it's like complete escapism. And I think I don't remember, I was telling somebody the other day that like I get so stressed out about everything that, and like my job is so complicated with numbers and this and that and the other, that like I don't want to watch or read anything deep because I just don't have the capacity at the end of the day. So I'm just like watching Dark Shadows rerun, obviously reruns, and stupid crap because my brain is just like, you've got way too much information in there right now. Like, chill out, focus on something that takes literally zero brain power.
So I
Yeah.
love podcasts, obviously, like, right. So I
Right.
love podcasts so much I started a podcast.
Right.
And I was a podcast fiend before, like, and I didn't find them that long before. I probably found them like a year before I started my own, and started listening. I was going through like a hard time, and I just couldn't sleep at night. Just had just bad time in my life, and I was looking for something to listen to, and I found Sasquatch Chronicles, which remains one of my favorite podcasts. And I started listening, and I was able to like go back to sleep then, because what would happen is I'd wake up at like 2 a.m. I just wouldn't be able to get back to sleep. I'd be just so stressed out. But this would give me something to concentrate on enough to like calm down and get back to sleep. So I started just loving podcasts and just seeking out all these different podcasts and everything. Well, then I started making one. It was okay until I went weekly. So for a while I was doing them every other week. And then once I went weekly, people will constantly message me like, hey, did you listen to this podcast? Did you listen to this podcast? Did you listen to this podcast? And I can't. I said,
It's exhausting. Like, people send me music all the time. Like, oh, you'd love this. You'd love this. And I'm like, I may or may not love it. I don't know. My music taste is weird. But like, I physically can't make myself listen. Like, it's just too much. I can't do it. There's only so much room. And it's very limited space anyway.
well, especially like, so everything in my life is paranormal, and I'm not complaining. Like, I get to do what I love, but
Right.
I'm doing artwork, I'm writing books, I'm doing the podcast, I'm guesting on other people's podcasts, I'm promoting my books on radio shows and podcasts. Sometimes at the end of the day, I want nothing to do with the paranormal.
Right.
I want to just give me a stupid comedy to look at, or give me a lot of times I'll listen to political podcasts just at night, just for something else, because it's like, you can't just have a steady diet of
So
just
it's not just me then. It's the same thing. That's the exact same thing that I go through with like reading and anything with depth to it.
Mm. And I'm not,
because I love stuff. Like we just recently watched Raised by Wolves, and it's so freaking good. And like, you can literally take frame by frame and analyze it. And I love that kind of stuff. But if I'm like in a mood where I've got too much going on, I cannot watch that because it's too deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just watched The Burbs yesterday, so I get it. Because it's good, stupid fun. Because the amount of research that goes into, like, I'm working on something for Two Women Left Unsupervised about Fort Hood. And so there's so much to that, and it's so heavy, man. And there's just so many things that were done wrong. And I find that I'll learn about something, like I'll learn about a specific case of a specific soldier over a day or two, and then I have to not, because I mean, part of it is I was in the Army, and I was a non-commissioned officer, and I was in leadership, and our job as leadership is to protect our soldiers and take care of them. And that's just it was not happening. And it made me, there's times I've been doing this research, it's made me physically sick. And so it's taken me months to work on this now. And yeah, so that's when I started getting involved with the Jeffree Star drama and all the makeup drama and oh God.
Seems like I don't know anything that you're talking about right now. He's on YouTube. Don't waste your time.
Yeah, don't. I mean, unless you need a break, because it is engaging.
It's the kind of break he'd enjoy.
It's high school drama nonsense. Like lots of backbiting and
Is this a small community? Like a small
No, it's actually
Jeffree Star is one of the like biggest makeup brands, I guess, in the world, allegedly.
So he
according
said.
to him. Yeah.
We should probably not say this stuff. We'll get like
copyright
mafia.
strikes or something. Bleep his name out.
Yeah.
Lord
There's no
Voldemort.
editing, by the way.
Other people call him Lord Voldemort when they talk about him.
Don't look, Tim. Just don't look.
I've
Don't look. It's
already
like a car
forgot.
crash.
So you do like both of you guys kind of do the same sort of thing, just different, sort of different subject matter, slightly different subject matter. Because you and Susie do a lot of paranormal stuff on your show too.
We do, and we talk about like metaphysical things and crystals and witchcraft and magic and ghost stories and yeah, but I don't know. I think he's a lot more well researched than we are sometimes.
Well, you guys kind of do like kind of personal stuff that relates to you
Yes.
a lot. And like
Yeah,
where you
because
grew up, and well, he does that too. But I don't know.
we wanted our show to be something where people can just come and they're hanging out with me in my room or my kitchen or Susie in her office as we're sitting there and we're just shooting the shit, basically, like just having a conversation. Like the other day, Wednesday, we shot a pajama party where we just both rolled out of bed
We
at
should
like,
have done that.
we can do that again. But we just both rolled out of bed and like brushed our teeth. Well, I brushed my teeth. She's questionable. Um, but no, we like, and then we just got coffee and started talking. Like, that's just, we want it to be accessible and fun and just something, again, that if you're having trouble sleeping at night or whatever, you can just watch us go off on tangents like we do with our squirrel brains, because we start out, we're going to talk about like the bubonic plague in Southeast Asia in 1342, and we end up talking about squirrel traps in 2020 and the best way to keep birds off your feeders. Like, you never know. We could go anywhere.
That's funny.
That's the good and the bad thing about working without the editing net, and I'm very comfortable with that net myself. But I don't know.
Yeah,
I wish I could be more free sometimes and just kind of go.
yeah. Well, it's Susie's job to edit, so
Mm.
I just write the taglines and descriptions and show up.
Does she edit much?
Almost not at all.
Yeah, it feels like a complete conversation.
It is, and there's
your podcasts don't sound edited to me.
yeah, me either. I thought they were just all.
No, there's a lot of editing. I do a lot of editing.
Well, you can't tell. Like, it doesn't sound like anything's cut to me at all. So good job.
Yeah, it's very smooth.
Yeah, I'm super anal retentive, I guess, about that. I'm very.
Well, you're probably super used to editing just from recording music and everything. So.
Yeah, although I've done way more since starting a podcast than I ever did with music.
Yeah.
I mean, most of the stuff with music, like I don't use. Every now and then I'll use a loop, but for the most part, like I'd say 90% of everything I've done, what you hear is just me playing it through in the studio. You know,
Yeah.
it might be 50 takes before I get it right, but
Right.
you know, I'm not punching in usually. I just don't have the patience to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So I just hit record and play it till I get it right.
So I have a question, like a music question, now that I think about it. When you guys are getting ready to like go into the studio and record, how much rehearsal do you do?
God, 0. I don't know.
Really?
No, well, it used to be where back in the day, like if it was one of my songs, Mike would make a tape for me, and then I would literally lay on the floor and just hammer it, and write lyrics and practice for probably a week or something, and then we'd go and record it. Some of the stuff we worked out actually on tour. So by the time we got back, it was like hammered in, and then we would record it. But the past like decade, I guess, a a lot of the stuff, Mike will just be playing acoustic guitar around the house, and then I'll just naturally start singing to it, like, because I can't not sing to stuff. And that's how we've kind of been doing it the past few years. So the rehearsal is just kind of doing it around the house. It's not like any kind of official whatever. And then we're like you, Tim, where we'll just keep hammering it until we get it, although he's like really good at editing. But we do a lot of electronic stuff and everything, so you kind of have to balance that in there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
Did you guys ever record it at a quote unquote real studio? You know, like a
No.
See,
Really?
that's an advantage though. That like because you're in control.
You're not paying for it for one thing. So if it takes you 15 years to get a recording done, you've not paid for anything, and you can just hammer it and hammer it and hammer it.
Yep.
And nobody else is touching your stuff. No producers in there. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's the like if I was going into a real studio, which I've done, I've recorded maybe 2 times in a real studio, and for other people usually. I would practice the heck out of it because you're paying for that time. I would be so practiced, like, but because I can record it at home, I might practice it, you know, maybe a week, like you said, and then just now it's time to record, you know.
Right. Completely.
Mm-hmm.
So how many instruments do you play, Tara?
Me? None.
I thought you did keyboards and stuff as well as the vocals.
I mean, I'm a very good trained monkey. Literally, Mike showed me the songs. I learned them. I'm not a musician. I mean, I played all the instruments on my solo releases, but it would be like a handful of silverware that I throw down, or like a bowl of rice, or like some wind chimes, or like playing with sample like discs or whatever.
Wait, so are you saying that you thought about what would sound good together and then like put it together almost like a musician would?
I mean, nobody plays the silverware unless you're a spoon man, I guess, but whatever. I play my vocal cords.
Yeah, you do. And how many do you play, Tim?
If it's got strings and it's not a fiddle, I will play it. I'm not saying
look at his wall.
I don't play it right.
Yeah.
Like quote unquote right. Like there's like I've had like guitar teachers and stuff will see me playing. They're like, "What are you doing? Like, what are you doing?" So I'm self-taught at everything, but I found a way that I can play anything with strings. Like I said, other than a fiddle, I don't get the bowing thing. I wish I did. I'd love to be able to play it, but I just don't. My daughter does.
Yeah, I see a mandolin back there, and then a banjo, and
there's guitars. There's mostly banjos of one sort or another, and it's a lute bodied guitar up there. It's not a lute.
Oh, okay. It looks. That's neat. Does that sound different? Like, how different does that sound than a regular guitar?
It's got
like a regular acoustic.
It's got more of like a earthy kind of low tone to it, which I tune low anyway. So, but it's I like Middle Eastern oud, like the oud. I don't know if you're familiar with that. I love that sound, but it's completely different from Western instruments. It's it's wonderful, but it's easier to play a guitar with that's essentially got an oud body on a guitar. So.
Oh, okay.
So I can, it's much easier for me to just play that. I do have an oud, but it's on the other side of the room. If I try to turn the camera, I'm going to knock down the microphone.
I'll let you slide.
Post a picture of it to her later.
That'd be cool. But yeah, no, I get it about the self-taught, because I taught myself all of my art and all my other techniques and stuff. And so I've been taking art classes now for the first time in my life. And I'm like, I guess I've been doing all this stuff wrong. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to use this paint with that paint and over this. And
did it work?
It looked good too.
That's all that matters.
One thing I remember Jarboe, like reading that Jarboe said, was that, she's a classically trained vocalist. And what she said was that she had to unlearn all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I mean, training is obviously good, like technique and all that stuff, but sometimes just being raw and
Mm.
doing it from the heart and it's not technically accurate is more
Mhm.
effective. Like I would rather hear somebody sing imperfectly but passionately over someone who's got a perfect vocal and there's literally no emotion in it whatsoever.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
my
agree.
issue with a lot of classical music. I love like early music, but it's so like pitch perfect, and I just don't think that's the way it was back in the Middle Ages.
Right.
It was probably a
Yeah.
lot more than that. Um,
It lacks soul.
Speaking of unlearning something, I had a friend who became very interested in flamenco guitar. He was I met him when he was real young. He was actually a brother of a friend of mine. He was probably like 14 or something when I met him, and he developed this incredible style of playing like flamenco, but it wasn't the real way you play flamenco. And he had come up, and it was really unique, really, really interesting and unique, based on just basically like kind of how he heard flamenco.
Right.
And he was an excellent musician. He got accepted to a college, I think in New Mexico. It's like one of the only colleges that had like an official like flamenco, like, program or something. And before he went off to school, I said, let me record you playing now, because you're
Right.
going to lose that. They're going to beat it out of you.
Right.
And he was like, well, I don't know. He ended up asking his mom, and his mom was basically like, what are you going to pay us to record? I'm like, I just want to document this. I'm not trying to get rich, and no one's going to get rich off of, your son's
Right.
flamenco playing. But so it didn't happen. I didn't record him, but he went off to college, and then it was gone because
Never the same.
they just beat. Now he's a fantastic guitar player, and he plays real flamenco now, and he's excellent. But that original unique style that he developed on his own is gone. It's
Yeah.
all gone.
Well, even if you think about like bands, like if you think about the post-punk bands, a lot of them, their raw early stuff was so much better than when they went slick. They
Mhm.
became better musicians and like lost all of the thing that drew you to that in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think being better technically doesn't necessarily mean that you're better at showing people the way that you see or feel or hear the world.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, and that's all I want to do. I want to show people how I see things.
Right.
Yeah, I think for and excuse if I offend anybody, I'm sorry, but I generally like weirdo people, right? We're not like the average people.
We're not like others, no.
Weirdo. I think the way a lot of weirdo people connect with the outer world is through creations of one sort or another. Like
Mhm.
we're socially awkward or whatever it is. We can't just like walk into the, you know, cheerleading squad and be like, yay, I'm one of you, whatever. So I think a lot of the way we connect with people is through creations and stuff. And so I think that's really important. And I completely lost my train of thought beyond that, but it had something to do with what you were saying.
No, I think that's viable because a lot of us don't fit in socially and we are so awkward. It's our way of expressing ourselves and also finding our people,
Oh
kind
yeah.
of like, like I've had deeper conversations with other creatives than I've had with people that have philosophy degrees, and we're talking about the same sort of concepts
Mm-hmm.
because we were never taught how or we weren't taught what to think. We learned how
Mm-hmm.
to learn this stuff on our own, and so we were able to form our own ideas without being told, well, this is what that person is saying. We were actually able to let them speak to us and
Or
decide
figure
for
it
ourselves what we heard. What's that?
out. I said, or figure it out for yourselves. Because, I mean, I don't read books about philosophy, but I certainly know that I sit around philosophizing too much, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
You don't have to learn something. I mean, it's good to have knowledge, obviously. And like some people can really sit down and articulate something that you have an inkling about, but that doesn't make them more right than you.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that always irritated me in school would be, you know, I distinctly remember being in like English class. We had to read some poem. I have no idea what the poem was at this point, but she's asking us for our interpretations and we would give them to her and she'd say, no, that's wrong. Like, how is
that
you tell me that's wrong? Like, why, first of all, why are you asking for my interpretation if you're going to tell me I'm wrong? But it's like, maybe the poet had a specific thing, but it's just like with music, like you can write lyrics that are deeply personal to you and you know exactly what every single word means. Somebody else listens to it and it means completely something different. You can't tell that person they're wrong.
Exactly.
There's to them.
There's
the same thing with like, you know, time theory or alternate dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
There's no right or wrong to it. Like you can't tell somebody the ribbon thing is wrong or the cyclical thing is wrong or the linear thing is wrong. Like there's no way of knowing. So you can read about it all day long and people can like memorize facts and like know names of philosophers and this and that and the other. Or you can just live life and feel it naturally in like your being.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Agreed.
Yeah, I got no arguments.
I know nothing about
I think it's interesting that you said, because there's certain things that you can hear. We'll never know what that poet meant unless they specifically sat down and said, okay, well, I wrote this poem and the heart is a metaphor for life and the friggin' stream is a metaphor for time and falling leaf is death. And like, we don't know unless they said so. And so what you read and what you get from it is going to be deeply personal because it's all going to depend on what we've experienced in our lives, what we've seen of the world and different cultures, because I think that matters a lot too. What you know about different cultures kind of colors the way that you view everything, because if all you know is, say, Midwestern American culture, you're not necessarily going to be able to relate very well to someone who grew up in Eastern Europe. Like you might speak the same language, like you might both be able to speak, read, and comprehend English, but you won't understand nuances of certain words the same way. And their experience of the world is going to be very different than yours. Like we can be very poor in the United States and be considered to be unbelievably wealthy in somewhere in like sub-Saharan Africa. Like it's all your perception, the way you perceive the world is your reality of the world. And that's going to color everything.
Speaking to that, what you were saying about the, you know, would not know what the poet means unless the poet tells us. Even like Tolkien in The Lord of the Rings, he emphatically denied that the ring was a symbol for the A-bomb. He said, no, that's not, I didn't write it for that reason. And yet you could read it and it's a perfect symbol for the A-bomb. You know what I mean? It's like if you, so yeah, he didn't intend for it to be that, but you know, was it something that was just culturally in the background, you know, that happened?
That's really funny.
Like I know for myself, like when I write, I don't always know what any of it means. It's just like come out of you that came from someplace. I can't, there's certain lyrics, like people will ask me what a certain song is about, and I'm just like, generally speaking, love and death. That's the general gist of pretty much every single thing I write. But like word for word, like line for line, sometimes it came from someplace, it meant something somewhere, and I'm just ushering it along the path. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, you get into that flow. I think like sometimes I'll get into a flow and I won't remember time passing or touching a pen or a paintbrush or anything, and then it'll be 12 hours later, I'm starving, I need to pee, and there's something in front of me, and I'm like, well, all right, like, I get it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah, it just kind of flows. And like, are you being some kind of conduit, or, I mean, I don't know, maybe
Possibly.
sort of
Why not?
automatic writing, painting, whatever. I don't know.
It's what one of my favorite musicians, a folk musician named Robin Williamson. He was saying, like, basically, he was talking about his songs. He said the music comes from the universe. He said, I just try not to get in the way too much. I thought that was
Yeah.
pretty,
That's brilliant.
yeah.
It's kind of like that with my books. Like, I have vague ideas what's going to happen, but I like literally I just start writing, and wherever they go is where they go. Like, I have a vague, I like the one I'm working on right now. I literally have no idea what the hell they're doing. It's so
What?
weird.
It's Susie also writes, and she tells me that her characters basically tell her what they're gonna do.
I mean, they don't like, I
Like,
don't hear a voice in my ear, but they
well, no,
look,
not like that, but they
for
do
sure.
like, they make their own choices. It's like, it's not like she sits and says, okay, well, at this point I'm gonna have them do this or whatever. It's, they make their own choices.
100%.
And then, like, I'll read, I do a lot of editing and stuff for her, and I'll read it and I'll be like, okay, well, this is great, but continuity wise, you're going to have to figure out how to make that work, because 2 books ago you had that character doing this at that time, and
Yeah. But yeah, it is. I mean, it is weird. And it's like, I almost feel like they're always back there pacing, like, okay, it's my turn. Start writing, you stupid, lazy bitch. Like,
Do they call you that?
sometimes. I mean, that's probably me calling myself that. But yeah, no, but I always feel like they're just caged animals waiting to get out. Like, it's weird.
When I hear you like talk about fiction, and privately we've discussed this, and I've just said it, like, I'm just struggle with it, right? Like, I guess I feel like when people ask me, like, how do you draw, how do you do that, it's like I just do. I don't know.
Right.
And it kind of reminds me of that, because it's like, I hear you talking about it and I get it, but at the same time, it's not like, writing nonfiction is so much easier to me. It's just,
I can't do that.
it's just, you find the facts and you put the facts down, and then
Can't do
if
it.
you're lucky, there's a story that goes with the facts, and it's just there. And I love doing research anyway. I'll spend my whole life researching if I can, but boy, I wish I could write fiction. I do.
We always want to do what we can't do, I think. But yeah, I don't know. And see, I like, my research will be like, I'll have an idea and I'll go Google search something real quick and read about it. Like, it's like, Norse gods or something. I want to incorporate that in some place. Or someone's telling me, like, that's what that is. And I'll go look it up, and I'll always be able to find something pretty quick, but I don't ever delve too deep into it, because I just, quite frankly, don't have time and energy. But so I'm like envious of like you guys who constantly read and like can retain all this stuff, because it'll go, I get vibes and like textures of things and like moods and stuff, but I can't like recall the facts of it. Like, I can't tell you names and like anything like that, but I get the like the sense
you understand
of it.
the concepts in a way that some people that can tell you the names and dates or whatever don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're very like emotionally smart. That's important.
Like I have a really good handle on like empathy and being able to feel things. But as far as like dictating actual facts and knowledge and all that stuff, I'm like,
I mean, it's for me, it's kind of like, it's a combination of nerd mind and what you love kind of sticks for me. So like, when I was a little kid, I knew the name of like every superhero and their alter ego, and I could tell you, where they lived and what city they were in, and every little detail about them. but I couldn't remember my multiplication charts, right?
Right.
Now it's like I have weirdly encyclopedic mind about like Bigfoot encounters. Like I can't always tell you exactly the name of the person, but I can just like, yeah, I remember that encounter and this is what happened and these are the details of it. It's the same. It's just nerd brain. I think it's just like this is something that matters to me, so I'm gonna I will retain this.
You guys like, but it's intimidating to people like me because like you guys like I know I say this all the time. I'm always like I'm so dumb, whatever. I know I'm not dumb, but like Mike is like next level. He can tell you every date and what happened on it in our lives, clear back to when we met and beyond, and like just anything about geography and all this stuff. He's like super freaking big brain person. You guys, I get the same vibe. You guys know all the stuff. You're like this book, this author, this thing, blah blah blah, and I'm just like, I don't know.
You also tend to ask me about stuff I like to talk about and that I enjoy knowing about. Like you haven't asked me about stuff that I just have no interest in.
Right. True.
So
true. But yeah.
It's not like you're asking a fish to climb a tree. So
well, climb one. I don't know.
I don't know.
So who has the longest hair? Tara, how long is your hair?
It's braided though, so it's actually longer than this. We all look at us hair farmers.
Yeah.
I think
his is the longest.
Ours might be the same.
Yeah, I cut mine, so it's only down to my waist.
Oh, yours might be longer then. Mine's down to the base, like bottom of my back or whatever.
So yours is longer.
I think mine's probably about as long as Tara.
I'm counting, like mine's to like my bottom of my rib cage, my waist. Not like my hips.
Depends where you wear your pants, where your waist is, right? No, actually, there's a real waist. My mother always used to say, like, why do you wear your pants so low? I was like, I don't know. That's where they fit.
It's where they go.
Yeah, we're a bunch of hair farmers.
Mm-hmm. I think Tara's hair is the thickest.
I don't know. You know what? A ton of my hair fell out after I had Dirk, and it's never really fully recovered.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a bummer. I take hair vitamins though.
Me too.
And I just started putting jojoba oil in it.
Yeah?
It's the only way I can get a freaking brush through it.
I
use WD-40.
Manly.
Because I'm a man. My favorite scene from King of the Hill is where Hank is he's working on the house and he gets out the can of WD-40 and it won't open, so he gets out a little can of WD-40.
I love that show.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
We started watching it with Dirk, and some of the stuff I'm like, he probably shouldn't be watching this. Like, we won't watch like Family Guy or anything like that because that's just he's 9. I don't need to be explaining some of that humor to a 9-year-old, but he likes it. But he's more Bob's Burger. We watched all of Regular Show and like Adventure Time and.
Oh, I love Adventure Time.
Yeah, it's so good.
Great show.
So
Gravity Falls.
That we've watched that repeatedly, multiple times. I saw
us too.
Susie's keychains in the video the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good show. Do you know that one?
I know people have told me about it. I know there's like monsters and stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely watch it. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's like Strange Familiars in a cartoon because there's like Bigfoot and like gnomes and the Illuminati and
there's like a time demon and all kinds of cool stuff.
Goth kids.
Yeah. And they're like gother than goth too.
Yeah. Well, they're more emo, I guess.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should start a goth debate.
Uh-oh.
Get the internet all pissed off and fired up.
Ooh, let's do it. That'll be fun.
I have I put cherry. We got cherry concentrate. I put a couple drops in my water. So
That's
Oh,
very
okay.
tasty.
I just have ice in mine.
why
It's
my
very
water
loud.
is
It's
purple.
very goth. What is it? Is that Mad Dog 50/50 or whatever it's called? Is
2020.
that what it is? I
You're
don't know.
so innocent and pure.
I am.
You kind of are.
I have water and vitamin water.
Oh wow.
Fancy.
I have water and ice.
You're as cold as ice.
Yeah, I
That's my favorite goth song.
I don't know. I kind of like "Wake Me Up Before You Go" by Wham. That's a good goth song.
Yeah, very moody.
Yeah.
Color Me Bad.
Oh,
Which one? There's such a catalog.
Oh, I wanna sex you up.
who sang Mr. Telephone Man?
Mr. Telephone.
What was it?
Man.
Oh, New Edition, Allison
New
says.
Edition, yeah.
Is that-
Something wrong with my line.
That's it. I used to be a telephone man, and I went. There was this car dealership I did the phone work for, and there was this lovely black woman who worked there. And every time I'd show up, she'd sing "Telephone Man," Mr. Telephone Man. And one day I came in and she didn't sing it, and I'd been working there for a little while, and I was like, hey, "Aren't you going to sing to me?" And well, her boyfriend was there, and he got so mad. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I didn't know it was her boyfriend. Sorry.
I mean, but aggro
Yeah.
much? Like,
Yeah, right.
it's not necessary.
Yeah, well, not my business. I was just
Not my business. That's funny.
Just before I was a professional wizard.
You were working your way there.
Are you a real wizard though? Do you have like a staff and like a crystal ball?
Uh-oh. He said we were going to do show and tell.
Oh, really? I'm not prepared.
I know.
Oh, wait, maybe I am.
I'm like looking around. What can I get?
I know what I'll show.
This is my walking stick.
I want.
Where's the camera?
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
What it is so up here is I carved a. I'm not good at showing things. I don't know where the camera is. There.
You have to put your hand behind it.
Up here, I carved a skull.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've
cool.
wood burnt.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Immaculate Heart, and then
tattoo
goes down here, and this is.
Oh my gosh.
Is that Latin?
The entire lyrics in Latin. We do a Latin chant in one of the Stonebreath songs, and this is the entire lyrics in Latin.
Oh my gosh.
Wrap around, and this is it's called green stain fungus. When I was little, there was a tree, so I've inlaid pieces of that. When I was little, there was a tree near my house, and an older kid told me that this tree, it would creak in the wind, and we called it the witch tree. So anyway, it's a great big. This I've done.
Nice.
So that's my walking stick. This kid told me that there was a witch that was killed in that tree. This tree would creak in the wind. It was a dead tree, and I became obsessed with it when I was a kid. I just loved the story. So he said there was a witch that was hanged from it, and her soul was in the tree, and the creaking was her like saying spells or something, trying to get out.
Oh my
God!
Nice.
It was about like a quarter mile from my house. And I grew up on a road called Dark Hollow Road. So I was completely obsessed with this tree, really, really fascinated with it. We called it the witch tree. Every Halloween, I would like try to get up the nerve to actually go up and touch it. And I never did. I never got up the nerve. I would get next to it and I hear it start creaking. I'd run away. But I love this thing. As an adult, one day I was driving to my dad's farm and I saw it had fallen. was dead for years, and it broke apart, and inside was this green kind of wood, and these are pieces of it actually inlaid into my walking stick.
Oh
So
my God.
That's
grabbed
so
some.
cool. So
It's,
you finally touched it as a grown-up.
yeah, and it's called green stain fungus. It's actually, they used it for inlay in the Middle Ages because it was this nice green wood. But yeah, so there's pieces of the witch tree inlaid into my walking staff.
Does it feel haunted?
It's completely protective. Like, honestly, it's like it's covered with protection symbols, and that's why it has the Immaculate Heart on there and stuff, because I'm big with Mary. But I mean, I'm super superstitious. I will not hike without it. That's what I had when the rabid raccoon attacked me, and I don't know how.
She got attacked by rabid. What was it?
It was a cat, and he wasn't really rabid, but I did get sick.
So that's kind of how we became friends, right?
It is, because I've been a fan for a long time, and then a mutual friend, Susie, that I do the YouTube channel with, and you know Susie?
Yeah, I introduced them to each other because they live like kind of close.
Yeah, we could probably hang out. I mean, were it not a pandemic.
Yeah.
And were you both not antisocial?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. That's a big obstacle as well.
I mean, I'm selectively social.
Yeah, that's true.
But so I have 2 dogs, and one is a husky and one is just like this little brown dude, right? And we were outside one night about 3 years ago ish.
Probably.
Yeah, about 3 years ago, and I take them outside and they're barking, and I was like, what is going on over there? And it's just like starting to get dark, and I see that there's like something over there, so I go over to pull them off of it because I don't want them to kill whatever it is, right? And it's this cat, and I pull them. Just animals. I like animals. I don't like people. I like animals. But I pull them off, they listen, and I'm like, back, sit. And this cat looks at me just with this malevolence and launches itself and like scratches my hand up. I have scars. Scratches me, bites me. And so we don't know whose cat this is. And it's a feral cat. So
yeah,
of course I have to go to the hospital, and I had to get rabies shots.
Oh my God.
I legit had to get rabies treatments. So the joke was that maybe I contracted rabies, but I did end up getting an infection. And because I have autoimmune diseases, it got really bad, and I ended up in the VA hospital. And so the joke is that I was in the VA hospital getting experimented on to see if I got like the super rabies and would become a werewolf or something. And so Susie really wanted me to rest because I tend to not do that. And so she had authors that she knows sending me books to read, and Tara sent me her entire catalog, which was awesome.
30,000 pages worth of whatever.
It was fantastic. I loved every friggin' word of it. Loved every bit of it. It was great. And so, yeah. And I think the first thing I said to you was like, listen, thank you so much for the books, but are you that Sarah? And then, yeah, I had to be stupid for a minute, and then we were fine after that.
Well, it was nice to have actual insight from somebody. So rare. And like someone correcting my grammar and stuff.
Oh, goodness.
You edit your own books though, right?
I edit Susie's books. I do a little light editing and sometimes content editing for Tara sometimes, but I edit other people's books. I don't write. That's not a skill that I have. I'm really good at researching. I'm really good at like presenting this is what happened and when, or this is a great idea and it would be neat if this happened, but I can't. Nope.
Yeah, it's, you know,
Yeah,
hey, editing is a valuable thing.
it
Yes,
is.
it is.
Bless the editors, because my books are much better because of it.
I actually love editing. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm weird. I don't know. I do it for our manuals and stuff at work too, and like people's emails sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what do you have to show us, Tara?
Um, I don't know. The Christmas tree. I don't know. There's nothing cool within arm's reach.
Okay. Well, do you know what a besom is? I know you probably do. Okay. So I'm making one
What is this?
for, it's a besom.
I feel like the word's familiar, but I don't.
It's okay. So it is like the witch's broom, and
Okay.
usually they're kind of small, and it's like a ritual item
Okay.
that you use to metaphorically clear spaces.
Mhm.
So I'm making one for I'm going to be getting married, and so I'm making one for my new house as a couple, because he lives in England, I live here, we're going to move in together, and it's all going to be like fresh. So I found
Are
the
you moving
center.
there? Or is he coming here?
I'm going there.
You're going there? Oh, awesome.
She was there during the pandemic for like
I
months.
was
and
I was
months.
stuck there for 4 months. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Darn.
Anyway, I'm sorry. Continue with your besom story.
No, it's okay. I do this all the time. We'll get back. We'll get back there eventually. Yeah, no, it was sad because I was away from my kids, and that was really hard, but it was nice. Like, if I had to be stuck somewhere, it could be a much worse place. Because I actually got to I got to Heathrow Airport on the day of my flight out, and my flight had been canceled. To get to Heathrow Airport from his house, I had just spent 6 hours traveling
Ugh.
on trains.
Hmm.
I had contacted the airport that morning and the airline, and heard nothing until I actually arrived at the airport. So could you imagine if I was stuck there for 4 months and didn't have a place to stay?
Right.
Didn't have that support system? I can't imagine how some people.
Yeah. Who could afford that? I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you would do. Become a hoe?
Swim? Become, she says.
I mean, continue on as a hoe.
Okay. Yeah. Get better at it, charge money.
You really have to put in some work.
Yeah.
I had a girlfriend in college, and she's a lovely person. But we were laying around one day, and I said, "We ought to go to England," because I think we had driven up to Salem, Massachusetts,
Okay.
and she had a little bit of money, and like I remember she told me she was gonna buy her dad's house, and she's like, "You can just live here with me and like be an artist or whatever," and just something about it seemed like I didn't feel good about that. Not because of her. I felt like I was taking advantage of her in a sense if I were to do it. So I didn't end up doing it. But she had a little bit of money, and spend like basically if I was hanging out with her, I probably only had to work part-time, because she took care of the meals and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So it was a fun time. And like I said, she's a lovely person. I don't have a bad word to say about her, but I said, after we go into Salem, I said, we should go to England. We should visit England. And she's like, yeah, let's do that. And I said, just completely joking, I said, can we take your car? And she's like, I guess so. She's like, can you drive there? And I said, yeah, haven't you ever heard of the London Bridge? So.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's
like
I
I'm really bad at geography, but I'm not that bad at geography.
that's
Wow.
almost as bad. I convinced my son the other day. He's 14, right? He says to me just in random conversation, he was like, wouldn't it be cool if we all had theme music? I was like, wait a minute, you don't? I had him convinced that everyone in the world had theme music that was constantly playing for them, and everybody had their own.
Every time we walk into a room,
yeah, but it was
always playing.
Some people were born with a rare genetic disease where they didn't have it and they couldn't hear it.
Also, it's like internal monologue theme song.
Yeah. Wow. So I had him convinced for a good 15 minutes, and then he goes and asks my brother. We live with my brother, and he's like, "What? No." Like, what? Where on earth would you get that idea?
That's funny.
I am like the worst mother ever. Oh, so bad. The poor kid. Oh.
My kids are now old enough that where they're watching shows like Always Sunny. I don't know if you're an Always Sunny fan, but there's an episode where it's not for kids for sure. There's an episode where it's called what is it? The Nightman Cometh, and they put on a musical, and it's very inappropriate. Completely don't watch it with your kids.
Sounds great.
But there's a part where Danny DeVito's character says you got to pay the troll toll, and it basically the lyric is you got to pay the troll toll to get into this boy's soul, but as he's singing it, it sounds like you got to pay the troll toll to get into this boy's hole. And it's this. The joke is that the character who wrote it may or may not have been abused as a child. Anyway, it's completely inappropriate. But when my kids were little, whenever they would have candy or something, I would say, you got to pay the troll toll. And I'd take a piece of candy, dad, the other people call it dad tax. I said, you got to pay the troll toll. And I didn't even remember this. Ursula reminded me of this the other day. My wife, Allison, would say, like, stop that. That's completely inappropriate. Well, they don't know. They and all I would say is you got to pay the troll toll. Well, now they've seen the episodes. They're like, that's what you were talking about.
When I was in EOD school, and actually when I was in Germany as well, when I was in the military, I was one of the very few women around, and we used to charge the troll toll to females entering the barracks before they went home on their walk of shame, Tara. Like the randoms. Yeah.
I had no idea what you're looking at. I'm like, holes? What? I don't know.
Yeah.
Good times.
Yeah, it was a good time. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bad parenting with Tim.
Yeah. I have tips. Follow me for more trips.
Yeah, no, my kids turned out good. They're all right. They turned out okay.
That's good. Mine are doing good. I didn't tell you yet, Sarah. My daughter Morgan is 17 and a senior, and she's been applying to colleges. And she has so far heard back from 2 colleges, and she's been accepted to both.
Awesome.
She got accepted to Colorado State University and Mount St. Mary's in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Aww.
Yeah, she's waiting to hear back from 2 schools in Hawaii.
Oh my God.
And then she has several other schools that she's applied to here on the mainland. So, but her dream is the Hawaii school. So
she's gonna go far away.
Yeah. I mean, I'm moving out of the country. Eventually, she'll visit and stuff, but she's going to move out eventually anyway. And, so will my son, hopefully.
See, I'm still like, don't ever leave the house. Like, you can stay for the rest of your life. I don't care.
I kind of feel that way too, but I do realize at this point that I have to let them go because they're older.
Right.
It's more real. But yeah, she got her second acceptance today.
That's awesome.
I'm really proud of her.
We always joke around with Dirk because he says he's never leaving, and we're like, that's fine. We're like, well, what happens when you get married? And he's always like, well, she could sleep on the floor, and like we'll still have our bed. That would go over really well.
That's so
we all still have our beds, but she's on the floor in the living room.
That is so. He is so pure.
I know.
I love it.
Because like when this whole pandemic thing started, it was scary to him, obviously, because there was so much upheaval. Like he's not going to school anymore and this and that. So we always did like couch campouts anyways, where we would sleep on the couch and watch TV all night and stuff. So he just started sleeping in bed with us again because who cares? And so we used to say like, well, where's your wife gonna stay? And she we're like all piled into the bed. I'm like, not sure that would go over real well with anybody.
Yeah. But I mean, if he needs you.
Yeah, we don't care. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. There's cultures where whole families sleep in beds together, and it's like grandparents all the way down to great grandchildren. So
yeah, I mean, first of all, I get up at like 3:30 in the morning, so I'm barely in there anyway.
Look at the grandparents in Willy Wonka. I mean,
exactly.
They never left the bed.
Completely natural.
Until there was a golden ticket in the picture. Then he got right up.
Grandpa Joe was right up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Earth says she doesn't want to go. And Gid wants to get out of here the minute he possibly can.
Right.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I think like there's such a part of every second of every day. I can't imagine. Like, what would I do with not him around here? Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah, AJ wants to stay with mom forever.
Yeah, that's fine.
Simon said he can have a room, and he actually said, well, I was looking at, because we want to move to Wales eventually. And he tells me, so I was looking at houses, and I think that possibly we'll be able to swing like a 3 or 4 bedroom house in Wales. And that way there's a room for your sister, meaning my little sister. And there's one for AJ and there's one for my boys. And I was like, okay, yeah, that works. And whoever decides not to live with us, I guess I'll use their room as my art studio. Fair enough.
For the goats.
No. The goats are going to have their own house. They get a barn.
You're not going to have them in the house?
No, I don't think that. Like, he doesn't say no to much, but I don't think I could get him to agree to that.
Indoor goats.
Yeah, I mean, I have to be reasonable with my requests. I'm trying to convince him that
damage to houses. Like
yeah. Well, I was trying to convince him that I need a miniature horse as a service animal, but that's not going over well.
Aww.
Yeah.
I had a friend who moved into a house after people who owned a goat, an inside goat lived there, and there was a lot of damage.
Oh, I can only imagine. We had outside goats when I was a kid, and man, they will eat literally anything. Like, it's not a joke when they show them in old cartoons, like eating tin cans and stuff, because they'll try.
They're so cute, though.
Oh, I love them.
I love them. They're even cuter when you put them in pajamas.
Yes.
Goats in pajamas is the best thing ever.
Yeah. They hop.
I
had a friend who her mother bred like top of the line, I don't know what you call it, like Siamese cats. And in fact, Barishnikov came to her house one time to buy one of her cats.
Oh my
Like, it was
gosh.
like
That's cool.
that kind of high end stuff. But at some point, she started with these other animals, and at one point, she was breeding like pygmy goats, and they were so cool. They were tiny. They're about the size of a puppy. But it's so
Oh,
unexpected because they'll like come up to you. They're very friendly, and but they have little hooves, so you're expecting like puppy paws.
right.
And all of a sudden, you feel these little hooves in your leg.
Yeah.
But
So cute.
oh yeah, they were super cute, really awesome.
They got those cute bellies.
Yeah. But you know what? Goats are deceptively strong, Tara.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Well,
They're
no,
like little ones will knock you over.
yeah. They
And
don't play.
Well, I mean, they do play.
Yeah,
But they
that's
just
how they
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to when I was young. I used to go work at This lady had a dog kennel, and she had show toy poodles, and so my mom would drop me off there to like play with poodles all day. But she also had show goats, and so the babies would knock you on your ass.
Mhm.
Yeah, just come over and like
Just the exuberance. Yeah.
smash their head into you.
Yeah.
I guess that's called budding. Yeah, technical term.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, knock you right on your ass. They were so cute though. I used to try to beg, beg, beg. Please, can we get one?
Aw. We had two growing up. I had one and my sister had one. And they were great until it came time to clean out their area. So stinky.
Yeah.
So and it's not like cleaning out the horse barn.
Worse?
Horses, like not
I know. It's worse than horses? Really?
Horse isn't that offensive to me. I
horse
mean,
is not that stinky
growing
at
up on
all.
a farm, yeah, that like
Yeah,
the
but
pony
goats were
wasn't.
stinky.
You just
Um,
think volume wise it would be more, I don't know.
I mean, I felt like the goats, like every step they took, they would poop. It seemed like there was just that, like maybe the horse poop is bigger, but it just was like
In one spot.
so much. Yeah.
to me, it's. I mean, as far as farm poop goes, the pony was way less offensive than anything else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I'm not a big fan of cows because my dad always had to have cows. It was beef cows. We didn't milk them.
Mm-hmm.
I just not a fan. Not a
Feel
fan.
sad for them.
Ask me why I eat beef. Go ahead.
Why do you eat beef?
Bite.
Revenge.
Uh-oh. We're in trouble now.
Oh, what cow hurt you, you poor man? Tell us where the bad cow touched you.
the day, like later in my dad's life, I finally convinced him. He had like 2 cows which he had been just keeping around forever.
Mhm.
Aw.
I finally convinced him, like, get rid of them. Like, it's too much. You can't take care of them. I can't be here all the time to take care of them. Just get rid of them. And he agreed finally. And I had somebody there within an hour to take them away. And he was like,
Cows.
"How did you do that?" I'm like, "Pure
I had
will."
plans.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Poor cows.
Hmm.
I feel bad for animals, and I feel bad that I eat them.
Yeah, my daughter's a vegan, so there's that.
I
I wrestle with that a lot.
grew up hunting with my dad, and I don't know, we never like shot anything that we weren't going to eat or whatever, and so I understood like what goes into it from an early age, and like I was also taught be respectful of the animal that's giving its life for
Right.
you to be able to continue yours. So I mean, I can see like the ethical dilemma in like big industry, like
That's my problem is like
food,
Oh
but
yeah.
I try to get like the grass-fed organic whenever. I can't always afford it, but I do my best.
I'm actually, like, joke aside, I'm actually not a huge beef fan. I don't eat that much red meat. But I do like, I'm a big fan of lamb. I like
Mm,
lamb. And the cutest animal in the world.
sweetest little
So
animal in the world
so
tastes so
delicious. Oh, so
good.
delicious.
But I mean, I don't eat meat even every day.
yeah.
So I'll have a lot of days where all I eat is fruit. Like I'm weird with
We
my
eat
diet
like a lot of
lately.
vegetarian stuff. But it's that's not a diet that works for a diabetic. Like vegetarianism, I don't care what anyone says. I live with someone who's a diabetic, type 1 diabetic, and
You're cool with it.
you can't live off of just vegetables. And you just can't.
Well,
So
I'm
as much as I would like to be, pure and whatever, that diet just does not work for somebody with insulin resistance or somebody who's a type 1 diabetic. Mike would literally probably turn into a skeleton, and I would just stop eating because vegetables make me sick. So,
well, I have to. I have a autoimmune anemia.
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So not only do I take iron pills every day, but I do need to eat red meat, or I end up getting iron in, like I have to sit in the doctor's office with an IV in and get iron infusions if
Yeah.
I don't. So
I'm
yeah.
just laughing at how all over the place this conversation is.
It's stuff and things.
It's
Yeah.
literally stuff and things.
Friday night with Tara.
Aw. It's
This is
hilarious.
my usual Friday nights. This is how I party now.
I'm looking at my son who's creeping in the room.
Aw,
Ah,
we said hi.
He waved.
Did you do a head nod? Stop.
mm,
You can come over and be in the show if you want.
It's stuff and things. Come on.
yeah, we don't mind.
You can take my place. You want?
Oh my god. I'm all nervous.
You're so- I was just telling my daughter today, I am like pushing 50 so hard it's gonna topple over and break soon.
What is happening?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's like I aged
What happened?
right on camera.
Wow, you grew a beard that fast? That's amazing. Or is it like the Egyptian strap-on beard?
You sucked the life out of him. My energy vampire
Yeah.
took all his youth. Oh my god, why am I so embarrassed?
No idea. Because you haven't been as exposed to teenagers as we.
These teenagers scare the hell out of me. I'm going to be quite honest with you.
You know what irks me? Like, his voice is deeper than mine. That pisses me off more than anything else.
Is he taller?
No.
No, it didn't seem to be.
Nah, I still got a
Quite
few
a bit
inches.
shorter.
Still got a few inches on him. But
How old is he?
17 on New Year's Eve.
Oh, wow.
The other
Mine-
one as well.
Baby. This is so weird.
Well, I say enjoy it while it lasts. It goes so quick.
It
Yeah.
really does. I swear I can still like, you know that moment they hand them to you in the hospital and that brand new first baby smell?
No, mine were so early. They were in the things in the NICU.
Oh, my little sister's a NICU nurse.
Thank her for me. They're wonderful, wonderful people.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
My sister is unbelievable.
Yeah, they were the some of the kindest people I've ever met in my life. Just wonderful. I still can't, when I see them out about town, I can't talk to them because I start crying every time. They were that kind and that good to us. I want to just go up and hug them and just thank them for everything. And I'll start bawling every time.
Yeah.
They're just,
It's one of those things that's like too much. Yeah.
yeah, they were really wonderful people. They were
Well,
really good.
considering what they have to see every day too, because I mean, there's wonderful stories, but there's a heck of a lot of awful stories.
I guess that's what it was, because they said, for every, group of parents they see that are dedicated and there every day and doing all the right things, there's also a lot of premature babies that come because of not nice reasons.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they have to see that as well. So I guess when they see people who are trying to do the right things, I'm not going to say, we certainly were trying to do all the right things. I guess it's a happy thing for them as well.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, and unfortunately, if the baby's in the NICU, the outcome's always are not always that great.
Right.
But my sister was 2.5 months premature herself, so it just kind of, I don't
Is that
know.
what drew her to that?
Actually, no. When my parents got sick, my dad got sick with Guillain-Barré, and he was in the hospital. He was in the hospital for like a year before he went out into like a rehab facility. During that time, my mom discovered she had cancer. I was overseas. She was by herself taking care of them. And she was just so good at it.
Mm.
And it just felt so natural to her and so right to her that she took care of my mom until the day she died. She was with my mom until the moment she died, taking care of her. And she was there in a way that I couldn't be, like I went home for as long as I possibly could, but my daughter was 2, when my mom first got sick, and I was pregnant and overseas when my dad first got sick. So I couldn't be there like I feel like I should have been. And then when my mom got sick the last time, I was pregnant with my son and going through a divorce. And then, when my mom passed away, my son was a baby and my daughter was still a toddler. And then she took care of both of my parents and discovered, hey, this is, what I'm meant to be doing. And after my mom passed away, she just started nursing school.
That's awesome.
And she decided that she wanted to work with babies. She either wanted to do babies, I think, or end of life care.
Mm.
But I think that end of life care is a little too close to, so she kind of wanted to give back what she was given.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. It takes like special people to be able to handle that and to like do it in a way that is helpful to the people going through it, as opposed to like some stoic sort of clinical.
Yeah. My little sister's the strongest person I know. Like, she doesn't see it that way, and but she's much stronger than I am in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think you kind of have to be to take care of people when they're dying, essentially. I mean,
well, it's funny because people are like, they always assume I'm the strong one just because I'll fight you. But but she's the strong one because she realizes that she doesn't need to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and she's just emotionally much more stable than I am.
It's that Aries thing.
The Aries thing, the redhead thing. Like, they used to, when I was in Kuwait, the range control guys used to call me Cherry Bomb because of my hair and my temper. And so
Wasn't that your job, diffusing bombs? Is that what you did?
Yeah, explosive ordnance disposal. And it was also my job.
Hardcore.
Yes. See, exactly. But I'm not though. I like adrenaline and I remember stuff. That's all. I like to take shit apart and I
I hate
really enjoy
adrenaline and I
explosions.
remember nothing. Literally.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's
The
crazy.
things got heavy there for a minute.
I know.
Yeah.
Like 2 minutes ago, I was literally laughing uncontrollably when your son was sitting there,
And
dying
then
of
we're talking about, yeah.
You think he might be mine?
I think that, yeah, definitely.
safe bet. That was hilarious.
The DNA says that you are the father. Oh my goodness.
Literally.
Mm,
Let's see how many times I can say literally.
a lot.
I know.
Literally so many.
I know.
Trying to
Oh,
think.
I was going to show you my thing I'm making.
Oh yeah, show and
Yeah.
tell.
Oh yeah.
Because I
Oh,
have this, well, no, because I have this rock right here, right? And it's poking me. So I'm making this besom, right? And when I make them, I do like a decorative handle and I put like protective knots and things like that in there. And then I give each of them like a stone centerpiece. And so I found the one for mine.
ooh.
This is titanium kyanite.
Oh, that's
So
pretty.
it's black kyanite that's been coated in titanium.
Naturally or through some other process?
It's like a heat process.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, it doesn't occur naturally, unfortunately. But
That's cool.
yeah.
Did you get
Um,
that from where you got the other gems that you just purchased?
oh, my international rock smuggling ring. No, this is from the United States. The other things I've um, been getting are from Pakistan and China, which is like where the rocks and the mines actually are.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this is from the United States. But kyanite is like a very protective and cleansing material. So it works out perfectly. And then if you look at how this is formed, it's like actually two formations that are like stuck together.
Hmm.
So it works.
How cool.
But yeah, but you can't tell where one ends and the other begins, and that's, fitting. It's strangely appropriate.
Now,
Yeah.
will you inlay that, or how will it be attached?
That one I'm not going to inlay. I'm actually going to do like a wire cradle, a copper cradle,
Mhm.
because copper is a good conductor and it actually will amplify. And the besom I'm using, it's actually cinnamon. Um, and it's not big enough for me to inlay.
Mhm.
Although I do have like wands and things like that I've made that I've inlaid the different stones like quartz and things like that into.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm actually working on a not as large as yours, but a maple wood staff of my own. Yeah, it's curing right now. So
People have asked me to make them those. I just, I don't know the amount of time that goes into that. Like
like,
I'd have to charge,
yeah,
if I,
that's what I was gonna say. Nobody could afford like
yeah. And there's like, I don't know who's making cheap walking sticks, but you can find them like with like little wizards carved on them and stuff at like craft
they're
fairs and everything.
machine made. They're not handmade.
They're like $40. It's
They're garbage.
like how can I compete with that? You know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
somebody's really gonna have to want one of mine,
Yeah, because the materials and even not necessarily materials, but the time they don't realize I've been working on sanding mine for months
Oh yeah.
to get it exactly that silky smooth texture that I want it to be.
Hmm.
Plus, like I stopped sanding it because I want it to cure more, because I realized that I cured it at first for like a year, and I realize it's not cured quite as much as I want it to be, so I've got it just kind of curing some more. And the time it takes to make them, then the carving, like the planning process takes a long time, and then the carving. And it looks like you did like wood burning in yours. Did you burn
Yeah.
that in?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. Like even I made a wand that was like this long, and it's still, I had to charge $100 for everything I put into it, because I did, like, I wrapped silver wire um into like a mesh rope, and then wrapped that around it, and I had inlaid crystals and things, and a crystal on the end that was set in, and specific symbolism to the person that you have to think
Mhm.
about. And yeah, people don't, I mean, the people that buy them do realize, but the people that want a $40 one don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to do them for people, but people are like, "Oh, you should do them and sell them." I'm like, like I'll do one specifically for someone if they hire me to do it, but
Yeah,
you can't just
on
make one
commission
up
only.
and hope it sells, because it won't. It's just
Exactly. I don't do my art because I do it because I have to. Um, but I don't do it because I expect people are going to buy it.
Mhm.
It's more, I do it to see, can I do it? What happened? A lot of my stuff starts out as, I wonder what would happen if. And that's how most of my paintings start. Um, so I don't, if somebody wants to buy that, great, and it's good because it helps me support my family, but that's not why I do it.
Yeah, I think probably, maybe speaking for not speaking for everyone, but I think so. I think we're probably I think Tara, you'd probably write whether they were published or not, right?
Well, yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, it's 100%
yeah.
for my own enjoyment at this point. And maybe Candy and like,
Mine, I was like,
I
hello.
obviously, I mean,
I mean, I'm compelled to make things. I am like I will never stop. I don't know.
I've tried to.
I it's whatever it is, whether it's music, art, podcast, books, whatever I'm just completely compelled to make things. Um, Psychologically, maybe that says something. I don't know, but so I would do it no matter what. I'm lucky enough that I found my people, I guess. But there's
I stopped creating anything for about 13 years. Um, because I was told by someone very important to me that um I was never gonna make anything of myself doing art, and that I was way too ambitious to focus on that too much. And so I stopped, and I was like just a mom, and I tried to fit into the whole suburban housewife thing, and it was not good for my mental health at all. And it was like that moment that I dyed my hair blue for the first time again, after having, like, before I was in the military, I used to like shave the sides and it was purple and whatever. And then I joined the military, and of course that was a thing. But then I got married and into a very conservative family. And that moment that I finally was like, okay, it's time to be me again, it was so freeing. And the second that the first thing I drew when I started drawing, I used to draw for like the kids or whatever,
mm,
but the first thing that I drew for myself was a maple leaf, like a very detailed maple leaf. And I still have it, and it's just set aside. It's my freedom leaf.
Aw.
Yeah, I haven't looked back. I'm I feel like I'm missing a lot of technique and stuff that I could have developed for myself, but it's coming back really fast.
yeah,
Like
it
you can
will.
see a difference in my art from 4 years ago to now, that's just unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, huge difference. Because I'm comfortable again and I'm not trying to, because when I first started, I was like trying to create to someone else's standard rather than my own. And
Yeah.
you can definitely tell. Yeah.
I'm just staring at Tara, waiting for her to.
I'm just staring at you.
You.
It's weird seeing your faces.
It's because I have a weird face.
Stop.
What was I gonna say? I mean, I lost it again. Oh, are you gonna? Is this gonna be a 2-hour thing, or are you
I
going
mean, I
Has it
probably.
been 2 hours?
Do you think anybody would sit? Will people like really watch this besides probably me?
You
I
might
don't
want to
know.
you might want to chop it up, like
Yeah,
to
maybe.
segments. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, like
I
release it maybe like 45 minutes to an hour at most at a time. I've discovered people don't really watch longer than an hour
Yeah, I know.
on YouTube, but there are people like me that if they get into it and invested in the conversation or whatever, will sit and watch the whole thing like it's a feature-length film.
I watch all of your guys's
Yeah.
and all of his.
I
There's
mean, we try not to run too long, but
I always thought, like, when I started, I thought more is better. I was doing like some of the episodes were like 3 hours long and stuff, and there's a certain, like, a lot of people appreciate that, like, yay, more. But there's some people who are just like, no, I can't do more than an hour. Like, I
And
can't.
I actually completely get that. Like, the only reason I can sit and listen is because I listen while I'm working. So I'm typing in insurance policies and listening. So, but like, if I didn't have that, there's no way I could invest. Like, I can't feasibly say I'm going to sit and watch this for, whatever. But
exactly. I work for myself, so I
Yeah,
do what I want.
a lot of people, like, I guess they like. It seems to be a lot of people like it for their commute, so they like it
yeah.
either they listen, if it's a shorter commute, they listen to half in the morning and half on the way back, or whatever it is. But I think that's what it comes down to. People, that's where a lot of people have time to listen.
What even time is it? Oh, 10 o'clock. Oh my God.
Well, at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably stop recording.
If you don't mind, could you ask them to cut Horizon?
Oh,
Like, I'll stop recording.
Gideon's having second thoughts about being. He said he would like you to cut that part out, not use that part.
Well, we'll see.
She'll
Hey,
cut.
here comes. Here. Look.
Hi.
Hey, Derek.
Hi. Hello.
Is it Derek or Dirk?
This is the Bigfoot hunter, and this is my friend Candy.
Hi.
Don't kick the table.
I'll try not to.
Wiggle.
He looks a lot like you.
That's Gideon off camera. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Good.
he looks just like her.
Does
I
he?
can see his dad in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you doing? I think he's getting slap happy.
I'm kind of tired though.
You are?
Yeah, just a tiny bit. I've been playing for like the last 3 hours with my friends on Xbox.
Oh.
What have you been playing? Fortnite?
Well, we were playing Minecraft, then we played a bit of Fortnite Creative. We were just building random things. One time we built the Avengers Tower in Creative.
In Minecraft?
No, in Fortnite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What version of Minecraft are you playing?
Yeah. I don't know.
I play the Xbox One edition and the Minecraft Pocket Edition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Minecraft is a solid game.
It is. I enjoy Minecraft.
Yeah.
I don't play anymore, but I used to. I just don't have time anymore. But I used to really enjoy it. Like, I don't know, 4 years back, something like that. Before the
Yeah.
5 years back, maybe.
Not
Yeah.
me.
Also, it's cool. It's like a basic game with like not like extremely detailed graphics, but it's still pretty cool.
It is. I built a house in there at one time that I had like a waterfall in
Oh, that's
with
cool.
fish, and I had glass windows and
One
all
time
kinds.
I built like a glass dome underwater for my house to be in, and like,
It was cool.
yeah, I could see like fish swimming around on top of it, and
Dolphins and stuff.
yeah, dolphins.
Oh, that's
Add
amazing.
sharks to Minecraft. That would be actually pretty cool. Also kind of terrifying.
I mean, there's already zombies, so.
Yeah.
I'm surprised this game is rated everyone. There's literal zombies chasing after you. Lily, stop puking.
Here's my show and tell.
Wait, can my show and tell be? Can my show and tell be Blueberry?
If you can catch him.
Okay.
Oh my god, the dog.
I'm gonna get my hamster.
Okay, go get him.
Look, this is my show and tell. Lily.
Lily in her little t-shirt.
I start barking. She looks really
Yeah, she's over it. She's not impressed.
Look at her, dude.
She's like a little blonde Wookiee.
I know,
Yeah.
she's cute. She's old. She's like 13 now.
I'll just stay on camera and you can do the commentary. So I'll move my mouth when you speak.
Blueberry.
Welcome, Strange Familiar. Signed, Timothy Renner. And I am Gary.
He's so cute. Is he a Syrian hamster?
Yes. Wait, and you put him on his mouth. Just his mouth actually kind of looks funny sometimes.
Are you laughing at Gid's commentary, Tara?
I can't.
Oh,
I don't know if you heard that. Okay.
I did. I was like, oh, his voice is so soothing. Oh, wait a minute.
All right, put him back.
He's a magic hamster.
He's magic.
By that means he bites me sometimes. That means he is very magical.
He doesn't
bites
bite.
you. Well, he bit me before. Also, he got underneath the couch.
Go get the rabbit. Just
Oh, God. I'm not going to unleash the beast and carry her in here.
Oy vey.
Like all of your guitars destroyed.
I know. I would love to. We have the kitchen is rabbit safe, but the rest of the house has guitar cords and power cords and everything. And then that bunny just loves chords. So
Boy.
if we had
What is even happening?
is that a
It is that
Minecraft Mandalorian helmet?
It is, as a matter of fact. No spoilers, Dirk. They haven't watched it yet.
I will not.
Did you make it yourself?
Promotions.
Yes.
No more. We can't say anything
We
more.
cannot.
So good.
Oh, did you watch it?
It's so freaking good.
I'm about getting ready to watch it here in a bit.
Wait.
He's got something up his sleeve right now. I don't know what he's bringing in here. Oh my gosh.
You're the
I mean-
lady from Black Happy Day, right?
What?
I'm not. No,
Yeah,
they're
sure.
way cooler than me. I'm not.
He asked if you were the lady from Black Happy Day.
I am.
I'm just
Oh,
seeing if I remember
Lady is
correctly.
debatable.
Because, like, I stumbled upon accidentally, just by being an idiot, how you came up with the name for that band, and it's, like, genuinely funny.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, we're not allowed to
Hey,
talk
dude, I was non-specific for a reason.
I'll tell you later, Candy.
Oh, you know you will. All the children.
I'm so glad they named it so people can stop calling him Baby Yoda.
I know.
Yeah.
I still do though, most of the time.
Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda.
All right. You're funny.
Oh my goodness.
Reaching.
I don't know if is it still recording? It is still recording.
Yeah, I'll turn it off now. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I mean, we don't have to
Bye.
hang up. I mean,
Bye.
we can if we want, but right now we gotta figure out how to. Where's the record? There it is. Thank you, buddy.
You're welcome.
Why is it not working? If I hang up, I'm sorry. Wait, right here it is.